for some people to come in. Got a lot of shit to talk about. Got a lot to talk about. Yes, indeed. What's going on? Read my lips, people. Making sure y'all can hear me first and foremost. I haven't done a stream since that stream with Russell from Grassroots. What's up, people? What's up, Yang Gang? Wait till some more people come in here. Good. What's going on, Melanie? Yang Gang in the house. It's still Yang Gang, right? We still going strong, right? It ain't over. It's still Yang Gang. I gotta get rid of that StreamYard insignia at the top there. Put something else. I gotta get rid of that. It's next order of business. So what's up? How's everyone feeling? What's going on, Miss Sharon? How's everyone feeling? Everyone in good spirits? What's going on, Ron? I keep forgetting we share the same name. I don't know if I'd say it's right. I don't think there's a right and wrong scenario. I think he's doing the calculative move. I think he's being calculating. Good. I'm glad everyone's in good spirits. I'm just sipping on some tea. So if you see me, it's not alcohol, I promise. It's just tea. Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't think I've done a stream since that stream with Russell. What was it? The day after Yang suspended his campaign. I haven't done a stream since then, so long overdue. What's going on, Danny? So how do I feel about Yang endorsing Biden? Is he a sellout? I don't think so. I just want to be clear. Okay. What's going on, Beggarman? No, Yang's not a sellout. First of all, Yang doesn't know anybody anything. Okay. He was his own candidate. So no, I wouldn't call Yang a sellout. It's just people have to understand that Yang Gang originally, in its purest form, is divided. If you break it down, Yang Gang is divided. All right. We only really truly came together because we had a candidate that spoke to all of us and that made all of us really relatable. But if you break us down to our core, we're all different creatures. Some of them came from the Sanders side. Some of them are really conservative and moderate. Some of them were former Republicans. So, of course, there's going to be a faction of Yang Gang that isn't happy with the Biden endorsement. Of course, there are going to be, some factions that aren't happy with that. Because, again, we're a diverse coalition of people. But no, Yang's not a sellout. He said he broke it down. He did the math, and he sees that Biden's going to be the the candidate, and he said he would back the candidate. So he's just doing what he thinks. He's just doing what he said he was going to do from the beginning. I just think people are really disappointed that it wasn't Sanders. I think people are really disappointed in the system that we have now, that a guy with dementia who literally doesn't have to do anything but put his hands and feet up and just try to be as quiet and stay out of the camera as possible can be the Democratic nominee. He barely put in any work. Shadow that with someone like Andrew Yang, who was putting in tons of work and who nobody knew 7 minutes ago, and really got down to the nitty gritty and spoke to people like you and I face to face and meant it and was a genuine person. The fact that someone like him wasn't the nominee, but someone who can barely put two sentences together, it really hurt people. People are really like, what the fuck is going on? Hi, I love your videos. Thoughts on Andrew Yang and politics. Hope you consider to do other topics. Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna branch out and I'm always gonna cover Yang, but during these 4 years, I'm definitely gonna cover other things that are happening too. Exactly. Yang can only make strategic moves. Folks forget that you can't affect change from the outside. Trust Yang has a method to his madness, but the bottom line is working on our collective behalf. Yeah, and look, Miss Sharon, why was I surprised about the Yang endorsing Biden? I was surprised at how quickly it came. But again, if he broke down the math and he thinks this is going to be the nominee, then this is going to be the nominee. If Sanders suddenly overtakes Biden and he's now the nominee, Yang would switch his endorsement, because he said he's going to endorse the nominee. So, but Sanders has done this to himself. It's not his supporters. It's not the people on his staff. Sanders has done this to himself for various reasons. He's ended up in the way that he is. He did it to himself, and then obviously, that last minute WWE, the moderates all coalescing together also didn't listen. Even Biden is surprised at how well he's doing. Even mainstream media is like, holy shit. Like, nobody expected him to win as much as he's won, even himself. Do you honestly believe that the people are really choosing these candidates? This is a real honest question that I honestly don't believe in the answer. What do you mean that the people are choosing these candidates? Like, the voting for these candidates? Like, you're saying do I believe it's rigged at the polling stations? Or like, what do you mean? Are the people really choosing Joe Biden as the front runner? Do you really believe that in your heart? No. Yes and no. Look, today I asked somebody, I was in a barbershop, obviously. You can see the clean lines. I was in a barbershop, and there was somebody there. There was a kid there. It was an African-American kid. He was in his early 20s. And I asked him about politics, and I said, hey, who are you voting for? And he said, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't really vote. And I was like, well, what do you know about Andrew Yang? He goes, I never heard of him. And then I kid you not, I said, what do you know about Bernie Sanders? He goes, I never heard of him. I said, who do you know? He goes, I know who Joe Biden is. So I think there's a lot of default support. I don't think it's like people are in their hearts going out to support Joe Biden. Like, oh, that man really inspires me. Like, I don't think that's the case. I think he legit is the default support. And so when people are like, either don't know Sanders, or he's too far left, or they don't think he can beat Trump, they're just going to cast their vote for Biden, because some people feel it's their duty to vote. I don't necessarily feel that way, but a lot of people do. Hey, QOP 13. How exactly is Biden supposed to beat Trump? He can't. He can't beat Trump. He can barely put two sentences together. Man, Trump was speaking. If you haven't seen that video that I posted, Trump was speaking at the conservative convention. And when he was talking about Bloomberg on stage, it was genuinely funny. And I was watching it with someone that hates Trump, and they had no choice but to laugh. He was pretending to be Mike and talking about how Warren was destroying him, and he's like, "Get me off this stage! Get me off this stage!" It was genuinely hilarious. It had really good comedic timing. His wits were about him. I've always said Trump knows how to play to a crowd. He's good off the cuff. Literally the opposite of Biden on stage. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Do you think progressives are going to hold this against Yang in 2024? They might. The diehard progressives will. You got to remember, my ice cream, their dreams were shattered with Bernie in 2016, and now they were shattered again. If you thought some Bernie supporters are toxic now, you ain't seen nothing. Be ready. Don't be surprised come 2024. Like, why are Sanders supporters like this? It's gonna come. Be ready, because they put their fucking hopes and dreams in there, man, and it's gone to shit. Me and Aaron from Unity Films are two of the freshest brothers. Maybe we should team up one day. Yeah, I've spoke to him maybe twice. I've spoken to him twice, and we were supposed to do work together as well. Obviously, it never happened. Yang suspended his campaign. I'm not even sure, to be honest, if Aaron is still making videos. If he is, let me know. But there's definitely something we should do. As a matter of fact, this weekend, Sunday evening, I'm going to be getting interviewed for the second time from Mindful Skeptics. I got interviewed with him when my channel first launched, and I'm getting another interview with him Sunday. So Sunday evening, I think it's going to be on his channel. It's not going to be on my channel. Be sure to check that out. Do I honestly believe that the majority of Democrats wanted Joe Biden as a front runner? No. And look, if they wanted a moderate, they should have went with somebody else. I know he had the momentum because of South Carolina, but if you're going to choose a moderate, they should have coalesced around a different moderate. But again, Obama called people behind the scenes. There was a lot going on there, but that was the wrong moderate to get behind. They never wanted Joe Biden. They actually wanted a Kamala Harris. They wanted a Pete Buttigieg. They would have even accepted an Amy Klobuchar. But African Americans in droves voted for Joe Biden from South Carolina. I'm still trying to figure out. People are saying like Bernie Sanders didn't do enough to win over African Americans, and I just don't think that's true. Him and Nina Turner and his campaign did a lot. They had a vast outreach program for African Americans. It's just older Black voters. They just swarmed to Biden, and that was it. I can't tell you why. It's not like, look, on this channel, I make sure I study these people's policies and their past and their records. It's not like Biden was promising or have done anything extra than anybody else for African Americans to be like, yeah, that's the guy. He cares about us. He didn't do anything like that. Nothing of the sort. So people are saying like, oh, that Sanders didn't do enough. Biden didn't do anything. He didn't do anything special. He wore some sunglasses and went to church. Like, he didn't do anything. And I mean, he got obviously, prominent praise from certain people in South Carolina. Yes, but he didn't do anything extra. He didn't do anything out of the ordinary to earn those votes. So I couldn't tell you why he had. And then, again, he was poised to win South Carolina for the longest. I'd always said that. I just don't know why. People going to obviously Clyburn was very influential. Exactly. He was very influential. I don't understand. Again, Sarah, everybody on this, Bobby, there's somebody I could respect, but even if he came out and said, this is who we should vote for, that doesn't mean I'm going to vote for that person. I have to think of my own self-interest. I have to vote for somebody that, is in favor of my ideals. Think of it like this. If Yang was still in the race and Clyburn told people to vote for Joe Biden, that's still the poorer choice versus Andrew Yang, correct? So if I was in South Carolina and they're telling me to, vote for Joe Biden, I'm going to say, fuck that. I vote for Andrew Yang. So I don't know why they all listen to him. I get he's a prominent figure. I have to vote based on my own ideals. It's with somebody that matches up to my ideology. And there's no way that's Joe Biden. I mean, I can't speak for everybody in South Carolina, but I just don't see it. We have to avoid becoming a cult personality. We need to diversify our message. Ron, here's the thing. We're already kind of split. Yang Gang is kind of split. If you go on Twitter, if you go on especially Facebook and some of these Yang 2024s, I was literally talking to boys from Mindful Skeptics about it. There's a lot of trolls in this Yang Gang right now because we've sort of what we had, that rapport with each other, it's kind of split. And so a lot of people are obviously in Yang Gang still for Andrew Yang, obviously, but man, it's that even Boyce was getting some pushback. Some people were trolling him. They were going at him hard in Yang Gang because he cast his vote and he cast it for Andrew Yang. And he was like, oh, you fuck, what a fucking waste of a vote. And they were getting at him. Some people have bumped heads with me. So, yes, we can't become a cult personality, but it's definitely starting to show the differences that are embedded in the coalition of Yang Gang. Remember, my brother, Russell from Grassroots, was a former Republican. I was a former Sanders supporter. Now, that's my brother. But him and I both started out as something entirely different. We had totally different beliefs. And it was Yang that put us together. So when you're peeling back the skin, when you're peeling back the layers, Yang Gang's very different when you look inside. It's such a broad coalition of people, which is why Yang said, I can't make them do anything when they're asking about who they should support, who his supporters should go to. So I can't make them do anything. I can't tell them to do anything because he knew that we were so diverse. It's disappointing because the Yang campaign was so anti-establishment and now he's part of it. This is what The Hill Rising was talking about, and I might do a segment on it for tomorrow. I've had people on my channel say, Sanders, policies are so vastly different from Yang's. Actually, Joe's are. The problems that we have that Yang is trying to fight, Joe helped expedite a lot of those problems. Some of the problems we have is because of Joe Biden. It's because of the policies he and the people around him in the swamp have implemented that Andrew Yang is trying to overcome. So if you really look at it, if you really break it down, it's Joe's policies who are really, truly different from Yang's. Now, the spirit of Bernie's policies, obviously Yang gives the head nod to. It's just not very plausible that they'd be passed. I think that's the biggest issue. And then Yang has some policies that he feels are superior. So UBI versus federal jobs guarantee. Do I think federal jobs guarantee is a horrible, horrible thing? Obviously not. Do I think universal basic income is better? Yes, vastly. But here's the thing. Biden's not for either of those. So, no, he was, people are worried he's going to become part of the establishment. Crystal Ball was worried about that. He really came in as an anti-establishment person. All we can do is have faith and look at the steps he takes. All we can do is have faith and trust in him. If you trusted in him to run this country, trust in him to do what is right for the future. That's all I can say about that. Trust and believe me, if I feel Yang became part of the establishment, I'd cover it. Even if I got heat from the comment section, even if I got 100 dislikes, I got to be true with myself. And I haven't seen him become part of the establishment yet. So everyone, please watch Aaron's videos from Today Humanity Films. Be encouraged. Yes, be encouraged. Go check that out. But these people have tested their vote yet. So what do you believe really happens in order for these people to become the front runner and everybody ends up voting for Joe Biden at the end? Well, Obama called Pete. Obama called Amy. Obama coalesced, made sure Beto coalesced. Biden won the South. He was projected to win the South. And then everybody, told their followers to vote for Joe. We're endorsing Joe. And Joe took the momentum. Joe took the momentum. Look, Sanders didn't attack Joe Biden hard enough. Joe Biden's my friend. He even said, I think Joe Biden could beat Trump. He never attacked him hard enough. He was really, really milquetoast. I would have been hammering Joe Biden on his past. I would have kept hammering him on Social Security. I would have hammered him on the way he's talked to people at his own rallies who ask him a single question. They ask him a question. He goes, you're a goddamn liar. Like, you just goes off on people and not in an entertaining way. I would have hammered Joe Biden on so much non-stop that it would make people even more conflicted to vote for that guy. Because you better believe Trump's going to hammer Joe, but Trump's going to have a field day. He's probably like, Joe, what, you can't keep up? Wake up, Sleepy Joe. Somebody give this guy a cup of coffee. He's going to hammer Joe Biden. He's going to hammer him. So if I was Sanders, I would have hammered him. He didn't. It's too little too late. He didn't go after the Tulsi supporters. He didn't bend the knee to the Yang gang. You couldn't even sit down with Andrew Yang and talk to the man about UBI. You couldn't do that. You thought you had it. You thought it was going to be smooth sailing, didn't you? You couldn't even sit. The biggest Bernie supporters were begging Bernie to sit down with Andrew Yang. Kyle Kalinske, probably the biggest, most influential Bernie supporter on the internet, on YouTube, full stop, was begging Bernie Sanders. I myself, 3 times, begged Bernie Sanders to sit down with Yang and his campaign and talk to him about UBI. He didn't do that. You didn't court Tulsi, who's always fucking fought for you. Warren was a lost cause. It became real personal, in my opinion. You should have Tom Steyer. You should have been going after any and fucking everybody you could. And if you have to adopt some of their policies, then so fucking be it. But he didn't do that. And now Biden's ahead. And Bernie's playing catch up. Is it over? No. But it's sure as hell close too. Did you notice Trump got more votes in California than Bernie? It's crazy because it's California. Yeah, Trump ran as a populist. You got to remember, Trump was saying some of the same things Yang was saying. Trump talked about automation. He talked about job loss. He talked about trade. He talked about infrastructure. The forgotten man will no longer be forgotten. Trump ran as a populist. It is not surprising to me that he got votes in California. Trump may pivot more to the left than Biden because he can lie about it. He can lie about it with a straight face. What's going on, Dr. A? I don't know what happened to Matt Dizzle. I used to speak to him on and off. I know towards the end he was having some issues with certain things. But from what I've seen, a lot of Yang Gang, has split up as far as people that make content. I've still made content. I'm still continuing to make content. It may not be every day. It may be every 2 days now, but I still make content because there's always Yang news. So that's not going to end. But a lot of people have, hung it up till 2024. Honestly, believe that Biden is the only one of the top candidates that cannot beat Donald Trump. So don't you find that a little bit suspicious that he'll be the run? No, I don't find it suspicious. Nobody else had that momentum burst. You got to remember when this started, Sanders was kicking everybody's ass. Nobody else was even coming close. I mean, Pete Buttigieg had the fake win in Iowa, but let's just be honest, Bernie Sanders won that. And nobody else was winning. Biden won. That was the first win, big win that any of them had. Obama made the call, and that was it. I don't think anybody's messing with anybody's votes or anything like that. I really don't. I think if you look at voter turnout, people aren't turning out for Bernie in the same way they did in 2016. Part of it is they don't hate Biden as much as they hated Hillary. They fucking hated Hillary. Yang had to play by the rules. He made the case of what Biden has to do. And I just want to be clear. Biden will never endorse universal basic income. And I know there was a tweet from Biden today talking about Andrew Yang. You're my friend. You're the future. Biden didn't write that. Do you think Biden goes on his phone and tweets? No. Biden didn't write that. That's from his campaign. That's from his staff. Biden did not write that. Biden does not go on Twitter. And he won't endorse universal basic income. He doesn't care enough. I've never seen Biden say anything along the lines of, "Man, we got to help you guys out. A universal basic income would be amazing." Even something even a half-assed version, even if he had a Tulsi Gabbard version, nothing of the sort. Nothing. He'll never endorse UBI. He won't make Yang his VP. He's going to pick a lady, probably of color, because he wants to get those kind of votes. And to be fair, Bernie Sanders was going to do the same thing. He was going to get a woman of color. Trust and believe me, if Biden made Yang his VP and took up the UBI mantle, a vote for Biden would be a lot easier. It'd be a lot easier because Biden's going to be a one-term president. He said this himself. And then next up, you'd have Andrew Yang in a good position. So that's a much easier pill to swallow. But I don't see him doing that. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. The average Joe Schmo asks him a legitimate question. He loses his shit. The virus will hurt Trump's chance of getting reelected. Well, you put Mike Pence in front of to take care of the virus, and Mike Pence doesn't even believe in science. So I don't know. Yeah, this virus thing isn't going to help him at all. I think Tom Hanks and his wife had the coronavirus. The NBA just shut shit down because of the coronavirus. I forget who, but one of the players has the coronavirus. I think there's a lot of shit going on in Italy right now. They're shutting shit down over there. I know for my job, I'm the assistant manager, but the regionals, they're not allowed to board any planes to go to any of the other districts. So shit is being shut down. This virus will hurt Trump. But at the same time, Joe Biden has to speak positively on a way to combat this virus as well. He can't talk about, playing a record player for the virus to put it to sleep and, so his legs can pop up, the hair on his legs, and Corn Pop will come up with a cure. He's got to come up with some shit. He can't just speak like how he has been. Young people don't vote. Yang needs older voters, to be honest. Yeah, the young turnout was horrid this time around. I mean, for the young people that do come out, they voted overwhelmingly for Bernie, but they're just not coming out. They're jaded as fuck. They're jaded. They're really jaded. Majority of America is uneducated. Yeah. I shouldn't. What's going on? What's going on, J-Rock? What's going on, my guy? So during the impeachment, I spoke on this in one of my videos. I go into work and I had a young kid working for me. I say young kid, he was 19. And he was seasonal. And our season ends in February, right? That starts the new season for us. So we had him during the impeachment. I walk into work and he knows I have a channel because I'm constantly talking to people about politics, trying to educate them. They know I went and saw Yang in New Hampshire for New Year's and I hung out with Andrew Yang and popped champagne and shit like that. So it was a very exciting time. So the kid says to me, Hey, I know you must be happy. Trump's no longer president. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, he got impeached. And I really had to break it down to him how it worked. But had I not come in that day, no telling how much longer he would have thought Trump's no longer his president. So you're right. Majority of America is uneducated. And I got into not an argument, but during 2016, I got back into a back and forth with somebody, and I do think he's right. He swayed me because I was talking about policies and how, policies is what's important. And he agreed. The guy agreed. But most people don't vote based on policies. And I sat back and watched, and he's right. There's a lot of other. Somebody on Facebook was saying, yeah, Biden's policies suck, but I like his morals. I'm voting based on morals. This was yesterday. I would put it up, but I'm not going to do that to that person. And I said, morals. Yeah, they like morals. People vote based on gender. People vote based on race. So, there's a lot of fluff people base their votes on, and I've never been that way. It's about policy. It's like, what are you going to do for me? What are you going to do to help me in my situation? What are you going to do to make life slightly more easier for me than it already is? That's what I vote based on. You being a woman, you being of color, your age, the rest of that shit, that's all just icing on the cake. But honestly, you can dress it up how you want. It's all based on policy at the end of the day. I don't understand why people didn't get that from having Obama here for 8 years. Because he didn't do much for him. He did some things, but not what they thought. I feel like there wasn't a good enough candidate support, really. I didn't have a number two. I don't like Bernie, though. Yeah, Sarah, I know you don't like Bernie, and I get why some people don't like Bernie. Dude marched on Washington. I'm gonna tell you why, because you're always commenting and giving your input, and I really appreciate you. Dude marched on Washington. I feel like his heart is in the right place. This is his supporters aside. I can't vote based on supporters. Can you imagine if I got into some spats and disputes with a whole bunch of Yang gang, and I said, you know what, fuck that, I'm not voting for Andrew Yang. I can't do that. No, he's got the better policies. So I've never based it on supporters, right? So, supporters aside, I think Sanders really has his heart in the right place. His policies, they're a bit dated. And they're not going to get through. They're not going to get through. They're just not. That doesn't mean the medical system doesn't need an upgrade. It does. It needs to be fixed from the ground up. I don't care what anybody says. It is a horrible system. I've been through the medical system, right? And I have health insurance. It pays for 80%. And I still had a gargantuan bill afterwards. Gargantuan. Medical bankruptcy is a thing. Okay? People are still dying because they don't have access to healthcare. So I think Sanders' heart is in the right place. I just don't think he executed it the way he needed to policy-wise. And I think he could have fixed that by putting someone like a Yang in his campaign and in his cabinet. And so Bernie could have said, Yang, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do because everybody deserves healthcare. And Yang could have been like, Bernie, you're right. Everybody deserves healthcare. Let's try to tackle it this way because these are the problems that are affecting us in the year 2020. And this is how we can go about doing it. And they really could have sat down and got shit done. They really could have. Sarah, if Bernie would have sat down with Yang and they really would have talked it out and he really would have adopted some of Yang's policies, or Yang could have twisted and changed some of Bernie's policies, would you have supported him then? And it was genuine. It would have been a lot easier to swallow that pill. And then listen, Bernie would have been a one-term president too. You think Bernie's going to do 8 years? If you look at a president after 4 years, They age immensely. Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden being president could literally kill them. It ages you exponentially. Sanders is going to be a one-term president, just like Joe Biden's going to be a one-term president. So if he would have, adopted Yang's policies, actually gave Yang a position, I think a lot more people would have accepted Sanders. But he didn't do that. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why. Because I know people from his campaign watch Kyle Kalinske. Kyle Kalinske has an in there. And when Kyle Kalinske is giving you hints of what to do, court Tulsi, court Yang, and you don't do it, yo, this is yours to lose, brother. Old people vote. Twitter just an echo chamber. Real name recognition in your community matters. Yeah, I guess. I mean, you're right, Ron, but Biden's just a default, man. Biden's a default vote. Studies show that people grow more conservative with age. It's true. And the more money you make too. That plays a big part in it. But yes. Now, do people grow more conservative because they've seen the system for so long and how it works and how it beats down on people? So there's just like, it just changes their view on things? Or why do you think people become more conservative with age? I agree with you. I never looked at the science as to why. Bernie's ideals are polarizing. Andrew was solving for the same problems with broad unifying solutions. And Dr. A, that's why I said he should have sat down with Sanders. If you would have took Sanders' policies and just switched it up a little, just skewed them, put a spin on it, put some yang on that bitch, you would have been looking at a completely different campaign. I fucking lost my spot. I'm trying to keep up, guys. Thinking about starting my own channel. There's still messages. Start your own channel. Listen, when I started the channel, I said, wouldn't it be dope if I got 500 subscribers? And it's like 3,000 plus later. So I start it. Did he ever say he was anti-establishment though? I don't think he ever came out and said he was anti-establishment, but everyone covered him that way. The news media, and they treated him like he was anti-establishment, as well as independent news media. He came out as he just came out as an anti-establishment. That's what they all, and I think that's because he wasn't into politics before, and he just came off as anti-establishment. But no, you're right. I don't think he ever said he was, but I also don't think he is. I don't think Yang was happy or pleased to endorse Biden. I don't think he was either. What job would you want from this Trump administration? What job would I want? I don't want a job with the Trump administration. If you can't beat him, join him. I don't understand why Bernie support base is worried about Yang support base if we are so small, according to them. I've never heard them call us small, but I mean, Yang Gang has real name recognition. If you go to CNN, if you go to anywhere, MSNBC, you say Yang Gang, they know who the fuck you are. You say that to any independent media, they know who the fuck Yang Gang is. So they can say we're small, but our name rings bells. He became a sellout to me when he said Assange needs to be indicted. Ooh, I saw that. I think Chelsea Manning needs to be let out. I think she tried to kill herself. She just tried to commit suicide. I don't think Assange needs to be indicted. I don't think any whistleblower needs to. If you're going to go after the whistleblower, you also need to go after the people that they whistle blew on. and I'm fine with that. But if you ignore what they leaked to us and only go after them, that really fucking bothers me. Everyone needs to call their elected officials, ask for a UBI stimulus for regular people. Yeah, it's you listen, UBI is taking off. I covered that on the channel too. People are doing a lot of UBI tests in their cities. Obviously, most of them aren't for $1,000. It's like 500, 600. But that's dope. That's dope. I live in Connecticut. We're the last to do everything. So once the rest of the United States gets UBI, then, Connecticut would be like, okay, UBI. Why should companies privatize profits and socialize losses? They shouldn't. What Yang made me understand, Burley rarely talked to him. That says everything. He got cocky. He did get comfortable. He got comfortable. I guess he didn't expect them to all drop out and coalesce around Biden. He thought they were all going to stay. Because understand, if they all stayed in, Bernie would be winning right now. If Klobuchar stayed in, if Pete stayed in, if everybody stayed in, Bernie would be winning right now. But he got comfortable. He got comfortable, and he thought they were going to stay in a lot longer. He probably thought they'd be dropping out after this Tuesday, and that he'd have such a large lead. He'd be he'd be cruising. But he was wrong. Yep. Like I said, Julie, I completely understand why Yang did it. UBI for regular people, congressmen and senators. It's pretty much over. Just watch next week's primary and see the gap between Biden and Bernie. I guarantee it. They got a debate coming up. Is it Sunday? I think they got a debate Sunday. This is Bernie's last shot. If he doesn't go out there and be aggressive and ream Biden no lube, if he's not on Biden, like how Biden is on married females, if he's not on Biden, like how Biden is on the unwilling, if he's not on Biden that hard, then he might as well just drop the fuck out. Because this is it. This is it. And they're already trying to coddle Biden for the debate. They're trying to coddle him. So this is it for this is your last chance. Yeah, Gilly. Had to get the fresh cut. You know what I'm saying? Yang gang for life. Yeah, Bernie's going on Jimmy Fallon saying Joe can win. Like, what the fuck are you? Are you trying to lose? Because if so, doing a mint, pretty good job. Yes, Matt Dizzle and James Treacle need to make a music video in our sadness. Turn to hope. I haven't heard from Matt Dizzle in quite a while. Didn't James just make his own YouTube channel? I'm pretty sure James just made his own YouTube channel. I think I was talking to him on Twitter about that. You think Yang could convince who, Julie? Biden agrees with Yang on the problem assessment, put out on the solutions. Yeah, see, I don't believe a word Biden says. I've seen his record. And he literally blatantly lies. He says he doesn't say things, or he says he did do things, and I've caught him lying over and over and over and over again. So I genuinely don't believe a word Biden says. With coronavirus and stimulus being mainstream, then UBI and small cash stimulus is inevitable soon. Yeah, is it Italy? They're giving people like a $750 like stipend. They're giving people money to stay home in Italy. I'm pretty sure I read that. When they asked Yang if Bernie reached out to him, Yang only said Biden reached out to him. It should tell us the type of relationship he has with Bernie. No, I mean, if you're talking about way early on, sure, but no, Bernie campaign reached out to him. Biden reached out to him when Andrew Yang suspended his campaign. They all reached out to him in some way, shape, or form, and that's when Yang said, "I'm not going to endorse anybody unless they're for UBI." So when Yang dropped out, all the campaigns reached out to him. Bloomberg, Sanders, they all reached out to him. Bernie was leading in the beginning of the race, but that was because the moderate candidates were dividing the moderate voter. Yep, exactly what I just said. He thought that was going to happen at least up till now. Right now, we need to concentrate on this coronavirus. That should be our concentration. Keep on breathing. But is that a distraction, Gigi? Is it a distraction? Bernie's not going to support UBI either, so it really doesn't matter if it was Biden or Bernie for Yang. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's why I assumed Yang would wait till like the very last minute and then make his endorsement, just like Elizabeth Warren is doing. But he beat her to the punch, and I guess he sees that, Biden will be the nominee. He'll throw Mike under the bus to get reelected. Who are you talking about? We need to unite and win this thing. Yeah, I've never been a vote blue no matter what person. That's just not how I roll. Especially because I feel like they think it's expected of me. I feel like the Dems, like Hillary thought that way. The DNC thinks that way. Like, just be a good little Democrat. The people you wanted Yang, you didn't get Yang. You were going to swallow, a Bernie win. You didn't get that. And we cut Tulsi Gabbard off by the feet. So just give us that vote. Just swallow it and do it. See, I don't hate Trump enough that, I'm vote blue no matter what. His policies don't do a goddamn thing for me. I'm not a fan of Trump's policies, but I'm also not a fan of how Biden wants to do things either. So that vote blue no matter what thing, it just doesn't bode well with me. Trump will throw anyone under the bus to get reelected, including his own family, if that's what's needed. Yeah. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Somebody told me he might be a sociopath. I liked when Joe Biden called that guy full of shit. I don't know why. The guy was right. You said he's full of shit, but the guy was correct. So, I mean, if somebody comes at you and they saying something full of shit, that's fine. That's fine. But the guy was correct. Biden says all the right things, but he doesn't follow up with solutions. Of course he doesn't, because he doesn't care. Biden just wants to be. This is the end of his legacy. He just wants to be president and go. He's tried to be president multiple times before. This is it. He just let me have this. Just let me become president, Jack. Listen, fat, just go and cast that vote, right? This is it. This is what he wants. And, I don't think Joe Biden gives a fuck about us. Does he want all of us in this chat to fucking die and melt away into nothingness? No. But is he going to go out of his way to give us solutions to help the problems in our lives? Of course not. Yang Gang and Burners are giving Joe Biden the middle finger. Yeah, there's a lot of, division on this Joe Biden thing I've seen. We need to build a network to rival TYT. I agree. I would love seeing something like that. And look, I know it's hard. It is hard amassing followers on YouTube. It is incredibly hard. So, getting something as big as think about it. Even Kyle Kalinske, only has what? In the 700,000 subscriber range or something like that. So it's hard. But if we all work together, if it was me, Paget, Boyce, Russell, Scott, and Kai, Alyssa, Erica, if we literally, Tom from Nerds from Yang, if we all got together and really collectively made a network then yes, we could get something as big as TYT. We honestly could. But we're kind of scattered right now. We're kind of scattered. The only person that truly can bring us together is an Andrew Yang. Bring Matt and Zach in this bitch and start a network. I can see that. 7 months still left before the general. Corona will outlast the election unless a vaccine comes out very, very soon. Yeah, and now that, celebrity figures are getting it too, it's only going to become even more mainstream than it already is. Yeah. Oh, see, Zach and Matt. Read my lips, Paget. Yeah, all the above. Yeah, Biden's gaffes, man. That dude was just saying the craziest stuff. Like, I put up a small compilation, and he was just like, man, he calling people lion, dog face, pony soldiers. First of all, I've never heard that before in my life. It's almost impressive. And these are just regular. Listen, if Joe Biden was talking to the media and the media said some shit to him, and Joe Biden's like, "You're a goddamn liar," and he said that on CNN, I'd be like, "Yeah, fuck yeah," right? But when it's just everyday people and politely and respectfully asking you something about your atrocious record, that's not when you attack them. That's not when you're supposed to attack. That's not how that works, right? That's not impressive. It's not entertaining. Can you imagine if I went to a Joe Biden event and I said, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to vote for Biden, and I asked him a question, and he's like, "Hey, listen, Jack, you knucklehead, you're gonna do what I say, because at nighttime with the VIX next to the speaker player underneath the horse and carriage, and you flipping on the buggy, and that's why. All right, fat." Like, can you imagine? I'm just no. Mm-mm. You've got a number of issues with Paget, quite frankly. I don't know. Well, you got to I've only spoken to Paget a couple times. During the Secure the Yang, the second one, when there was supposed to be an interview with Evelyn Yang. I've spoken to Paget on Nerds for Yang. Me and Paget have talked a couple times, but I don't know what issues you have with her. Feel free to divulge. I'm not a super Paget person, but I can see the need for that content too. Well, it's just because she's been in this. She's been grinding for Yang. When I went to New Hampshire, there were some people that recognized me. And a lot of those people said they heard of me from off of Paget's page and shit. So, she does have a solid base of people that fuck with her. Trump said he would hold a press conference to outline a proposal, saying that it would be discussing a possible payroll tax cut or relief, substantial relief, or very substantial relief. He better get on the money. Incremental improvement. Do we really want incremental? Do we? Because I feel like we've been getting incremental for years, and that's one of the issues why the African American community is stuck where they're at, because of incrementalism, if I'm being honest. Hello, nerds. Dr. A just said, let's not forget Nerds for Yang. I don't know why some of Bernie's base is blaming Yang, not his fault for them losing so far. Well, I mean, they really wanted they really wanted his endorsement. But I said, this is, Bernie lost this himself. Bernie didn't fight. Hindsight is 2020. But Bernie didn't fight the way I felt like he should have fought. And their backs are already against the wall, right? With this war and shit. And then there was just another jab to the face when they saw Andrew Yang endorse Biden. They're like, oh, what the fuck now? So, I mean, to be fair, Q, you don't know why some of Bernie base is blaming Yang and mad at Yang. But even some of the Yang gang is mad at Yang for endorsing Biden. So everybody's a little mad at somebody. You've seen her using other people's materials, media without credit, including your own, and she lacks a lot of knowledge on things she talks about anyway. Holy shit. Huh. Just going to sip my tea, but I love her passion. She's very passionate. South Carolina doesn't have any paper ballot backups. It's only electronic voting, so there's no way to know if Biden won South Carolina. Passion is good, but hard to get behind with someone who burns you, though. Shit is getting real. I like Kai's passion still. The kid is awesome. Was glad to meet him at ATL debates. Ironically, I don't have Kai on Twitter. We haven't added each other. Is that weird? That might be weird. We know of each other's existence, but we haven't added each other. He might not watch my content. And I've seen very little of his, so. But I know in the Secure the Yang challenges, he came on top a couple times. He was usually like number 2 or 3 or some shit like that. So unpopular opinion, but even Yang Gang needs to consolidate. We can't be in conflict amongst each other all the time. Dr. Ray, and this is what I'm saying, like Yang Gang is split into some different factions right now. Like, yo, when you got people in a Yang Gang group or forum going at boys and going at people who've been fighting for Yang, people who have raised money for Yang, going at them like in such a trolly fashion, that's not cool. And I'm like, and I even said, I should just post it. Like, this is what we've become. Like, we got to chill out with that. And it was just responded with trollisms. I keep telling Burners that Bernie is running for prez, not king. He needs to learn how to play nice with others. Others being Yang and Tulsi and, you know, people that can get along with his ideology, because I don't blame him for not kissing the media's ass. They've treated him like shit. So, yes, he needs to learn how to play nice with others, but certain others. With the media, they're not going to fuck with him no matter what. Remember, they would rather show an empty podium of him, an empty podium, than show him having a speech. So he definitely should have reached out to some other people, sucked it the fuck up, and you know, did some things for them, just like he did with Hillary Clinton. When Hillary won, before he went and endorsed her and campaigned for her, he had some, you know, some things he wanted her to abide by first. You know, it's the same thing with Yang and Tulsi, and he could have did Tom Steyer, and he could have did a lot of people. Like, you should have went to Yang and be like, what can I do to get you to endorse me? And then it did it, and then did it. So you're right. You're not running for king. You're running for president. And he should have adopted some of these people's policies. Yeah, that, like Ron and Sarah saying, that stubbornness and not thinking that only your ideas are the ones that can fix it. That's a problem. You gotta. It was a very smart man that I spoke to when I first got into management, and he always said, it's always okay to bend but not break. Right? Bernie Sanders could have bent. He should have bent. And we're not telling you to abandon every ideal you have. We're not telling you to break. But you could have bent. And you didn't. And now we have a guy with dementia that might be the Democratic nominee. I mean, personally, I don't hate Donald Trump the way a lot of other people hate Donald Trump. So I will survive another 4 years with Trump in the chair. But there's some people that absolutely hate the orange man, and you kind of fucked it up for them. You fucked it up. I don't understand why people think Yang can tell me who to vote for. Yang can't tell you who to vote for. He can't. He said it himself. Bernie and Berners had 4 years of a lead and a base appeal of even. It's his turn. I don't know. They've always hated him. Not media wise. He didn't have a lead media wise. They've always hated Bernie Sanders. Always from day one. They will never stop hating him. They will hate Bernie Sanders to the day he dies. They will hate him. So I don't know if I would call it a lead. I'd say he had a lead with his supporters, but even his supporters factioned off and went to other people. How do I know this? I went to Andrew Yang. I was a Bernie supporter. So, even his base, I wouldn't say he had a lead because even large chunks of his base, fractioned off. If he would have if nobody would have changed and everybody just would have stayed with Bernie, it'd be different, but that's not the case. He lost a decent amount of people. Trying to keep up with Read My Lips, news and politics stream, and comments being way out of sync. I'm not a Nico House fan. Not a Nico fan. I love Tulsi Gabbard. I love Tulsi. Tulsi's awesome. She's a fucking fighter. She's a fucking pit bull. She's not gonna bite her tongue. But I'm not a Nico fan. I dig the fact that he digs Tulsi, but I'm not a Nico fan. He lost me too, believe it or not. I voted Bernie in 20. See, I would have never known that, Sarah. I would have never known you voted for Bernie in 2016. But he lost me. And I had switched my support to Yang. And look, if Bernie would have won and became the nominee, I would have been cool with that. But he wasn't my prime choice. He wasn't my prime pick. And I only had 3 candidates I would have fucked with, and that was Tulsi, Bernie, and Andrew Yang. All the rest of them didn't earn my vote. You got to earn it. You got to earn it. For me to vote for Joe Biden, tell me something. Not status quo norm shit. Not the status quo normie shit that got us Trump to begin with. Give me a reason why I should vote for you. Don't challenge me to a fucking push-up contest. Don't get mad that I'm asking for a reason. Give me a reason why. Why should I cast my vote for you? Can't do it. I know we can't. You won't. That's why I only had 3 people. Whether I thought Sanders' stuff could get through or not, he wanted a revolution. He was speaking on problems that existed, like Medicare. He should have skewed and changed how he approached it, but we needed a overhaul on Medicare. Federal jobs guarantee, the spirit of it was good, but UBI was better. So I don't know. And you know what? It's going to be a sad day. Even the people that are in this comment section right now that aren't pro-Bernie, after it's all said and done and Sanders isn't the nominee and he goes off into the sunset, never to see him again because he's not going to run again, you're going to be a little sad. You're going to be a little sad. You're going to be a little sad. You may not be as sad as you were when Yang suspended his campaign because that was a tough week, but you're going to be a little sad. You're going to be like that poor bastard, that poor old man. Go sit down with the wife and, relax. Mike F was one of the worst Yang bashers on YouTube after Sam Cedar and Michael Brooks. He was as bad as TYT. I don't really watch TYT anymore. I haven't watched TYT in a long time. What's going on, DEFCON? There's still AOC. She's got to spruce it up some, educate herself a bit more. She's still very, very young, though. But she'll have a political future. Nico House has been fair to Andrew Yang. I just don't like his content. I just don't. He doesn't. I'm not saying he's like Nico House is a bad person or anything. He doesn't do it for me. You can't stand AOC. She's got the AOC you see now will be vastly different 5-6 years from now. Trust me. Hashtag could have had Yang. ZZ Topic Serpent, trust me. The AOC 5, 6, 7 years from now will be completely different AOC. I just, once she's gone through more and more and more and more shit, she's going to be a different person. She's still very, very young. I do feel bad for Bernie. He's a fighter. He has a good heart. Just some bad ideas. Real diagnosis, mostly just bad ideas. You said it. You said it. You said it. You nailed it on the head. I don't think he's a bad person. I really don't. And I think you're right. He's right on the diagnosis. Healthcare, that needs an overhaul. People struggling with fucking college, that's a thing. That's a legit thing. That's why I tell people, kids, when I see younger, I said, okay, college is fine, but think about getting a trade too. Think about a trade. Like, I wish people would have told me about trades when I was younger. Nobody was really talking about trades. So, like, he's speaking on things that need a fix. It's just the solutions aren't necessarily 100%. You know what I mean? And that's why you see Andrew Yang saying the spirit of, because he knows Bernie's heart's in the right place. And if he gets demolished, if he gets crushed at the very end of it, and you see that old man, because if Bernie Sanders loses, he's going to hold a huge rally. People are going to be in tears. And if you see him, when you see him walk off, you're going to be a little sad too. You're going to be sad. Trust me. Sonic. He's been trying his little heart out for years. He's really been trying hard. Yep, Bernie, right diagnosis, wrong prescriptions. I agree with you entirely much about leaving. With you entirely much believe in Yang and that he has a reason and a plan for endorsing Biden. It is entirely up to Biden to convince me to vote for him. Exactly. And Biden has yet to convince me to vote for him. You know, I've been covering him. I get home from work, I sit down, and literally all I do is dive into news media. And every time I see Biden, he's arguing with somebody. Somebody's was talking about the Iraq war, bump heads with him. Somebody's talking about his comments on guns, bumps head. He's always bumping heads with someone, but not in a funny Trumpian way or a sad Trumpian way. It's just sad in general. Income inequality, 3 people in the U.S. owing more wealth than the bottom 50. Not right. Whoever hate the game, not the player. Fix the system. Don't demonize it. Yeah. Like, he's speaking on things that are true. Half of America makes $30,000 or less. That is true. 75% of people live paycheck to paycheck. That is true. It's true. It's just he didn't have the right prescription. Trying his little heart out. Poor choice of word. He'll be okay. He'll be okay. I mean, look, he can stand for 2 hours. Biden doesn't even think he can stand for 2 hours coming up. Trump is very scared due to his outbreak, and he thinks programs are going to solve the recession that's coming up. There's going to be a bubble that's about to burst. I hope people are ready. The bubble is about to burst up. It's coming. Just like the last one, it's coming. Has Biden decided on a VP with Biden with an Andrew Yang? There is no Biden Yang 2020. Like, that's not happening. Biden will not make Yang his VP. It's going to be a woman of color. It's going to be all superficial. It's going to be something that looks good. That's all that he's not. He'd have to actually care about the problems to make Yang his VP. He doesn't care. But to be fair, Bernie wouldn't make Yang his VP either because he's stubborn. He thinks his problems are his ideas are going to fix it, and he's wrong. No, Biden will pick a corporate show VP. Exactly. That's why on my channel for like weeks, I couldn't understand why people were saying Yang Biden ticket, Yang Bloomberg ticket. Yang cares about problems, offers solutions. Bloomberg doesn't give a fuck about us. Biden doesn't give a fuck about us. It's not a winning ticket. I take that back. A Biden Yang ticket is a winning ticket, but it's not a ticket that's going to actually happen. I don't even know what Biden's flagship is. He's just trying to fight. Yeah, he's trying to fight everyone. Dude's trying to fight everybody. Dude just came out saying he's running against Ronald Reagan. Did you guys see that? He's going against Ronald Reagan. Just like people were worried about Sanders with his heart, you got to be worried about Biden and his cognitive abilities. Seriously? We cannot ignore that. And like Biden's had like what, 2 brain hemorrhages. Biden's had work on his heart too. Yo, being president could kill Sanders or Biden. Like, I'm not even being funny. The amount of stress. Stop stepping on your VP dreams. I wish Biden would. It would make me voting for Biden easy. If Joe Biden came out tomorrow and said, I'm gonna make Charlie Yang, make Drew, I'm gonna make this guy VP of where am I? He's gonna be my VP. It'd be a lot easier. It'd be a lot easier for me to be like, all right, fuck it, I gotta vote for Biden. But he's not. I just don't see him doing that. I'm a beautiful man, stubborn but beautiful. And he's running for Senate. Yeah, he had the blood eye on TV. He had the Sasuke Sharingans on TV. That was terrifying. I'm for sure worried about Biden's cognitive issues, early onset dementia or something. Look, go back 6 years ago. Go back 12 years ago. Biden demolishing Sarah Palin. Paul Ryan. Biden was a sharp motherfucker. He was so sharp, if you touched him, you get cut. It's not the same person. He's not the same person. He's not the same person. And it's actually sad to see. It's sad to see because we're on the outside looking in, but I know his family has to see this too. I know his family sees this. And I know Biden legitimately thinks he can beat Trump. Biden thinks he's that guy from 6, 7, 8 years ago, but he's not. And it's actually a very sad thing to see. That guy should be spending as much time with his family. Like I said, fuck Bernie. Put a different moderator in there, a different moderate in there. Let Biden fucking relax, yo. Go kick your feet up. Enjoy this time with your family before you forget them. Like, all jokes aside. Imagine he actually says that. I can see him saying that. Didn't he just mix up his sister and his wife recently? He's going against Ronald Reagan. He's mixing people up. Think of everything he said. He said he learned about roaches from black people. And then very weirdly said, I love kids. Like, and then I had the kids sit on my lap. I love kids sitting on my lap. Like, why did you do that? Why did you say it like that? Dude's out of control. I want Yang to be VP to a brain dead president. I see what you're saying. So we can have Biden like a puppet on a string. Yeah, Biden was an awesome debater in his prime. And in his prime, and his even before then, like, did you see the video where he said he literally prostituted himself out? Biden's like, yeah, I went to the big wigs. I prostituted myself. They said, come back when you're 30 or come back when you're 40. Dude had no shame in his games. Dude said, I tried to get rid of Social Security not once, not twice, but 3 times. He said it. He said it. And then they asked him about Social Security, and he's like, you're a goddamn liar. And like, no, wait, whoa, no, he's not. You said it. You said it, bro. The wife and sister mix-up is understandable if his gaffes weren't over 9,000. I put my scouter on, his gaffes are over 9,000, so now it's just added to the collection. And Bernie and Bloomberg are sharp. There's no way Joe Biden can go on stage and go head-to-head one-on-one against Bernie Sanders. It's just not happening. That's why they're trying to change the debate format. They're like, let's sit down. No, we're not going to have you guys go head-to-head, ask you questions. We're going to take questions from the audience that, remember, they get to see the audience's questions first, so they get to pick and choose what questions actually go through. They're going to coddle Biden this next debate, because if it was just a one-on-one, Bernie would destroy him. As a matter of fact, I'm going even farther. If Tulsi Gabbard was on that stage, that would be it for Biden, because she'd be the attack dog for Bernie Sanders. And they know that, and that's why last minute they changed the debate rules so she couldn't participate, because they know. They sat there, they said, oh, fuck no. You're going to put who on stage with Biden? No. Change it. I don't give a fuck. Change it. We're not having her up there. They knew it. Tulsi would have demolished him. She would have demolished him. She would have bulldozed right through him. The podium arrangements are planned beforehand. If he is blinded by cameras and lights and does not have wife and sister in his field of view, then the position may have changed. Have you watched Jimmy Dore on how Biden was running in the 80s? All the lies and manipulation. He was literally stealing. He was literally stealing people's speeches and claiming them as his own. Didn't he have to drop out because of that? He was literally almost verbatim taking people's words and was like, yeah, I wrote this. This is me. And they're like, dude, you didn't write that. Like, that's not yours. Like, he had to drop out. Like, Biden. But even with all that, he was still sharp as a fucking tack. You want to talk about a politician? That dude was a politician's politician. Could Tulsi step up? I don't think so, because they hate her too. They hate Tulsi Gabbard, which is really fucking weird because A, she's a woman, B, in the military active, and C, she's of color. She has all the right numbers of things that they should be fucking with her. But they don't like Tulsi Gabbard. They don't like her at all. So she has no shot. They crippled her. I'm not doing elder abuse. I'm not doing look, if I thought Joe Biden could beat Trump, he'd have more of my support. He really would. He would. It's not elder abuse. I'm genuinely worried about this dude. Genuinely worried about this dude. Didn't he make up something like, was it him and Nelson Mandela, and how, you know, a whole bunch of shit happened when he went to visit Nelson Mandela that it was verified that never happened? He said he went and got some chains and he was going to fight Corn Pop outside of the pool. He talked about, you know, awarding medals to people. Either he awarded a medal to somebody or he received a medal, but it was untrue. It's just weird shit. Like, just weird. And I genuinely don't know if he's lying or if he thinks that shit really happened. Like, it was some Narnia shit. And he thinks like, yeah, I got the medal. What are you talking about? I got a medal. What's going on? He said he got arrested in South Africa when visiting Mandela, and I think it's been verified that that didn't happen because the guy is still alive. That was around during that time as well. Like, but why? But like, Dr. A, why say you got arrested? It's actually a weird thing to say because when Bernie Sanders says that he marched on Washington and got arrested along with a black woman, some people call that pandering. So for people don't like that shit for some reason, even though it's factual. So I wouldn't even have he didn't need to say that. He already had strong support with African American community. I don't know why he said that. The street cred, man. You think that's what he was doing, pandering? About the you're talking about Bernie Sanders and the marching on Washington, or Joe Biden lying about the Mandela thing? Because my version of pandering, I'm going to tell you my version of pandering. My version of pandering is Hillary Clinton going on the Breakfast Club and pulling out hot sauce from her purse and when Charlemagne the God asks, "Oh, you carry hot sauce to appease the black people?" She's like, "Yeah, is it working?" That's pandering. If one of those motherfuckers would have came to a debate dressed as Black Panther, that's pandering. Getting arrested, handcuffed to an African American woman is not pandering. I think that's just true. And if Biden would have got arrested when trying to visit Nelson Mandela, if that actually happened, it wouldn't be pandering. It'd be factual. I'd be like, all right, I see you. That's dope. Pete pretending to get black support and saying, look, if you don't send a letter saying you don't want the support, then you're automatically vetoed into support. That's fucking pandering. He was detained at the airport for not being allowed to go through the common folks line on his way to meet Mandela. Okay. So he was is that even detained? He just, well, yeah, when they detain you, yeah, I guess you could call that detained. Yeah, he got detained. I don't think the exaggeration was malice either. It was just that, an exaggeration, which I don't understand why, because he already does incredibly well with African Americans. Doesn't need it. Doesn't need to exaggerate anything. They voted for him in droves. I still want to know why he said he learned about roaches to a group full of black people. I still don't understand that. I still don't get that. What the fuck you mean that's when you learned about roaches? And I really wouldn't call Biden a revolutionary either. I remember, his statements on busing. Revolutionary tried to prostitute himself out. I don't know. I'm not saying Biden's a racist because I don't think he's a racist. I just think if we're talking about new ideas, like in reference to Yang, Biden's not one of those people that has new ideas. He's just status quo Joe. And then saying things like, how I do with African Americans is one of the reasons why Obama wanted me in his campaign. Newsflash: Obama did not need you to win African American votes. That was the exact opposite of why he needed you. He needed you to get those people that weren't exactly comfortable with him. Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think he lives in a different world. What has he done for African Americans to have this amount of support? Absolutely nothing. Not a damn thing. Nothing. Nothing. Joe Biden's 120 pounds of nothing. He's 5 foot nothing. Hold on. Cell phone's ringing. Hello? It's nothing. He says he knows Biden. He hasn't done anything. He doesn't do anything. Not a damn thing. I was talking to somebody on Twitter. They were talking about what has Sanders done to earn the African American vote. So I asked him, what did Biden do? And he says, you're right. He hasn't done nothing. Whole bag of nothing. Yeah, status quo Joe. I'm over 2020. An orange narcissist and crazy dementia man going after each other. That would be fun. Oh, Trump's going to listen. Whew. SNL's going to have some fun with that too. Trump's going to destroy him. Like they weren't allowed to talk about, Hunter and Ukraine. And like, even to this point, Hunter goes, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. But then when you ask Biden, he goes, he did nothing wrong. Even your son is admitting, okay, yeah, I fucked up. Admit he fucked up. It's just, and again, it's hypocrisy because Trump is part of the swamp. Let's just be honest. But he's so good at deflecting. He's so good at pretending he's not part of the swamp and then revealing that the other person is part of the swamp. A Sanders surrogate came out, remember, and said that, Joe Biden's corrupt. Sanders took that back, ixnayed it, and then Joe Biden's not corrupt. What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you trying to win this primary or what? You don't think Donald Trump's isn't going to come out and say Joe Biden's corrupt? He's going to exaggerate and say Joe Biden's the most corrupt. Trump knows how to run as a populist, man. He ran as a populist. He knows how to play to a crowd. He's great off the cuff. He's all there. He's sharp as far as running a campaign goes. He doesn't govern as well. But it's going to be Bloody Sunday going against Biden. But the DNC, I mean, and you guys let me know if you think I'm wrong. I think the DNC is more than willing to let the fucking house burn than to get a Democratic socialist in there who's actually a social democrat in there. They're willing to burn the fucking house down. He's like a lump of moldable clay. Exactly. We represent the math candidate. We got to think the long game. Yeah, I really want Yang to be careful these next 4 years. Build up as much credit as you can. That's why I was okay with the CNN thing. Get on CNN, become a household name, and run in 2024. But he also needs to make sure to not lose. If those Bernie supporters tune out, and they tune out for years and years and years, that won't bode well for Yang. Just don't lose them entirely. Just don't lose them entirely. Because I think Yang has a great chance of winning in 2024. I almost feel like Warren will run again in 2024. I kind of feel that way. Corona stock market crash is wiping out 401ks. I got to look at my 401k. I'm afraid to. I have it through net benefits. I got to take a look at that shit. Sad and tragic, but it took a pandemic for people to see UBI. That's usually what happens. Shit's got to hit the bricks before people know what's good. Do you know people vote not in their best interest all the time? So UBI is in people's best interest, but it took this shit for them to be like, hey, maybe we need some universal basic income. Maybe that would help. Yeah, the CNN thing will help with name recognition, and it will keep young people excited. Which one of Donald Trump's kids will run in 2024 and 2028 and on? I don't think any. I think they have the personality of dry paint. so they're not even going to bother run. Trump's going to come out richer than he was before, and he accomplished what he wanted, and he's just going to keep on pushing. Trump's an anomaly. His kids can't go on stage and be like, I can shoot someone dead on Fifth Ave and they'd still vote for me. That's unique to Trump. We shouldn't assume Trump victory. We can't appear to give up. I'm just doing the math, doctor. And the math says Trump's going to win. Especially because Trump's been very simple. I know you guys have noticed that Trump's been very sympathetic to Sanders supporters too. I know that's part of his strategy. He's been very sympathetic to them. Saying like, oh, they're doing to Bernie what they did to me. They're being very unfair to crazy Bernie. This is not right. Look what they're doing to Bernie. Look how they're treating Bernie. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Dropping little breadcrumbs, being very sympathetic to Bernie. So if he can even squeeze some of them out, he will. I've heard him speak, and that's a unique quality. But he has no charisma, and he's not funny. They may put Don Jr. in 2024, but I'm more than willing to put an Andrew Yang up against a Don Jr. any day of the week. Any day. Any day. I can see a war. Obviously Pete's going to run again in 2024. Okay, let's say they put Don Jr. up there. That's cool. I'd almost see an Elizabeth Warren running again because she's 70. So we got these guys that are 77, 78 running right now. Elizabeth Warren might run. Those are 4 people that might run. Don't be surprised if you see a Cory Booker run again. I can see that. But again, a lot of things can change from now to then. But if it's the Don Jr. I've seen speak, we don't have much to worry about. Yeah, Yang would crush. Come on, he's so fucking smart. He's a rock star. He knows how to play to a crowd, just like Donald Trump does. But he actually means what he says, and he says what he means. And with name recognition, he'd go a lot farther. And think about it. One of the biggest issues Andrew Yang had was with mainstream media. If he's got the in with mainstream media, he goes to Christmas parties with these guys. Him and Van Jones are going to be cool. Summer vacation. If he's getting cool with these people in the media, come 2024, the press coverage is going to be exponentially better than it was during this last year. Much better. Much better. Think about it. Much better. Listen, he's playing chess. These other people are playing checkers. Fox News already fucks with Andrew Yang. Now CNN already fucks with Andrew Yang. I'm calling it now over time. MSNBC will fuck with Yang. They'll fuck with Yang. What's going on, Sarah? Yeah, I didn't announce I was going live, but I haven't been live since that talk with Russell after Yang dropped out, and then I have another live I'm doing this Sunday with boys from Mindful Skeptics. So figured I'd get on here and bust some chops. Yeah, Warren will run again, probably Buttigieg, Booker, Klobuchar too. Yep. Biden's VP would probably be the favorite in 2024 if Biden wins this year. I don't know who he's going to choose. A lot of people saying it's probably going to be a Kamala Harris, which she endorsed him even after saying, I was that little girl. Remember, because we talked about how horrible Biden's record is, and we talked about busing and segregation and stuff like that. All things okay to talk about. All things to get on him about. And Kamala Harris is like, I was that little girl. Yeah, she endorsed him. We are trusting in Yang and saying that he's going to campaign hard for the nominee to beat Trump. Then how can we give up? But Yang also has said he can't tell us what to do. He knows in his heart of hearts that he can't get Yang. He can't tell Yang Gang what to do. They're going to do what the fuck they want to do. If you have done the math and decided that Trump is auto winning, then Yang, being as genuine as he is, would just say, well, fuck it. Let's call this race and call it a day. Didn't Yang do the math and say that he felt Biden was going to be the nominee? Technically, it's not over. Technically, Sanders still has a shot, if we're being completely fucking honest. It's just not looking good for him. So Yang did the math and endorsed Joe Biden. I think it's the same way. I'm doing the math, and I think it's Trump. Of course, something crazy can happen from then to now. But once that happens, then I'll change. It'll skew my vision on things. But as it stands right now, Donald Trump is going to beat the man with dementia. I think Donald Trump will finish off democracy in the next 4 years, and he and his family can remain. What evidence do you have to this? I mean, there's a lot of people that hate Trump. You know what? You know what I think you might be right about? If majority of the Sanders supporters are jaded and they just don't vote, then your theory may hold true. But I don't think a Don Jr. can beat an Andrew Yang in a matchup. I just don't. And Yang will have a lot of money behind him in 2024. Don't fucking doubt it. Yang will have money behind him. Yang will raise a ginormous amount of money, and he will have money behind him as well. So that wouldn't be an issue. Yeah, Yang might have a better shot if Trump wins 2020. He might have a better shot. Aloha. Yes, Don Jr. could beat a Kamala. But who couldn't? So could a Tulsi Gabbard. So, she's not, Kamala's not that great of a speaker. I mean, think about it. She was fucking trying to ban Donald Trump from Twitter. I don't think she has great political savvy, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. If you think I'm wrong, Dr. A, I'm not giving up. But are you saying, like, don't give up, like, as far as Democrats go? Because I'm not, like, I'm not, like, the D no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not, again, you have to earn my vote. That's just how it is. But I'm not giving up as far as Andrew Yang goes. So I'm covering them extensively every other day. I'm putting out some Andrew Yang content. Well, Yang Gang's getting mad over it because Yang Gang is a pretty diverse coalition of people. Like I said before, some of them were Sanders supporters. Some of them were Republicans. Some of them are conservative. Some of them are very libertarian. So the faction that's getting mad is obviously the ones that were former Sanders supporters. And also the fact that, some people are getting mad that Joe Biden is not even thinking of universal basic income, but he was able to attain Yang's endorsement so quickly. But Yang says, he did the math and he thinks Biden's going to be the nominee. So, I'm not mad at Yang for the endorsement. I am mad at who the eventual nominee will be. Across Canada, what's up? Andrew Yang just turned into a corporate show. They're about to come for you. They're gonna come for you, bro. But I've been seeing that all over. I've been seeing it all over social media. I'm telling you, there's a deep division in Yang Gang right now. But there's been a deep division for the last couple of weeks. Ever since Yang suspended his campaign, I am not kidding. Some of the circles I ran in, there's a division. Here's my agreed. Just saying we shouldn't assume the overall race is over. Morbidly, coronavirus gives me hope. This whole this sounds like a good movie. Like I'd watch this, like a Netflix special. Yeah, this corona, and I'm not even there. When I was in the barbershop today, conspiracy theories were flying everywhere. None of these people know about politics, but they were in there, and I've heard every conspiracy theory you can think of involving coronavirus. And these people were dead serious. Dead serious. From population control to aliens to this only happens during an election, so America pumped it out, to China hates us, so they pumped it out. All conspiracy theories, and every one of them were so sure of themselves. So this whole coronavirus thing, and now with Tom Hanks just had it, and the NBA putting shit on hold. People from my region, my bosses, aren't allowed to fly anymore. Italy telling people to stay home and giving them money just to stay home. This shit's gotten bigger than I expected it to get. Thank you for continuing to fight for Yang. Much appreciated. Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna put out Yang content, and I'm gonna keep his name out there as much as I can. Because I still have hope in Yang, and I want him to be the president in 2024. This is the first big issue to divide Yang Gang, but we weather the storm. Oh yeah, we'll weather the storm. We'll get through it. I agree. There were no hand sanitizer or toilet paper at Walmart. At my job, luckily, we placed an order at the beginning of the month. So we placed an order. So we have hand sanitizer at my store. I kid you not. 3 people have tried to steal the hand sanitizer. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I got on a vest and shit like that, right? I sell suits and ties at my job. All I sell is suits and ties. Expensive shit. Suits, ties, dress shoes, watches, jewelry, shit like that. Motherfuckers weren't trying to steal none of that shit. They were trying to steal the hand sanitizer. This shit is out of control. We usually keep the hand sanitizer in the front of the registers for the customers to use. We now have to keep them behind the registers on the back counter. Because 3 different people have tried to steal the hand sanitizers. We had to stop person at the door. So shit is serious. No, not Joseph A. Bank, even though they're down the street from me. It's called DXL, Destination XL. We're not as big as a Men's Warehouse or a Joseph A. Bank. Maybe bigger than a K&G. But it's called DXL, Destination XL. It's for big and it's really for big. It's dress clothes for big and tall people. Yes, still hand sanitizers. They were trying to steal hands because we have 3 of them, one at each register. And the person was like, "You have 2 more." We're like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if I had 7 of them. Here's one for you. It was created in a lab, and the ones who invented it will come up with the vaccine to make trans curing from it. Big Farm. If what the fuck is his name? Who's the guy with the Wu-Tang album? Fuck. If it was him, I'd wholeheartedly believe it. Who's the guy? Oh, God, it's on the tip of my tongue. He eventually went to jail, but not for gouging the prices of the pills. It was for a different reason. Martin Shkreli. That's some shit he would do. You can make hand sanitizers yourself by making 1 part alloy and 3 parts alcohol. I'm about to start a hand sanitizer black market. Can you imagine like just going up to people in like a trench coat, just popping your trench coat open? Y'all got what you need. You need that hand sanitizer, you know what I'm saying? That's how I'm gonna start flirting with people. I mean, we can go to dinner or, we can go back to my place. I got a big bottle of hand sanitizer. What do you say? Mother Nature always has a way to balance the scales when we abuse her bounty. That reminds me of The Happening. Do you guys ever see that movie, The Happening? That's pretty much what the fuck was happening. Not a conspiracy, I repeat. The projections internally are not great and stuff can't be made public to avoid panic. Just as much swagger. Yep, Scully, you said it. Add toilet paper. So far I haven't come across a lack of toilet paper. Because I usually buy like a shit ton. Get it? A shit ton? Yeah. I usually buy like a huge pack of rolls. So I haven't had to look for toilet paper, but eventually I'm gonna have to. And that's gonna be quite interesting. You need the dark web to buy the hand sanitizer. You need what the fuck is it called? You need Tails. You need to go on Tails and go to like some shady fucking website just for hand sanitizer now. My mom has a corona patient at her job. She works at U of M hospital. It's a droplet spread for the most part, not really due to something. Just saying. Ah, shit. Listen, I used to be in the medical field. I used to be a PCA through a group. It was called Allied Community. And I would take care of people and like I would clean their house and wash their clothes and do their dishes and stuff like that. A lot. Sometimes I'd have to make them take a shower because they hate taking showers. The last guy I had, really good guy. He's lost his leg, but people in that field, people in the medical field, they're in a lot of danger themselves. People in the medical field. Used to be PCA too. It was. I mean, it's a good job. It was actually probably one of the most fulfilling things I've done because I feel like I'm genuinely helping someone. You know what I mean? I can sell, a couple suits to people for a wedding, and that's a good feeling. But it's still not as good as helping somebody out. What's going on, Sue? Are people gonna have to like start crossing the border to get like sanitizer and toilet paper and stuff? Use Bitcoin to buy a mask. I never really invested in Bitcoin. I should have. I'm super familiar with it. No more toilet paper and water bottles in your area due to other people coming into your city and buying it all. I rarely see white people and Asian people in our area. And now, is this gonna be like, oh, warriors, come out and play? It's gonna be a dystopia. Just money has no meaning here. Keep your fucking money. All we want is toilet paper, water, and hand sanitizer. Holy shit. People are gonna have like the outfits on with fucking spikes coming off of their shoulders, looking like the fucking road warriors. It's just desert and tumbleweed. That's gonna like come on. Just Twinkies have survived the coronavirus. Everything else is dead. Twinkies and fucking roaches. We had to go to Home Depot to buy toilet paper. They have yet to figure it out. And spam. Oh man. What? You thought it was the Black Plague? No. You thought it was pneumonia? No. What killed us all was coronaviruses. Listen, the conspiracy theories were so much at the barbershop. Some people were saying black people were immune to it. First of all, they'd be rounding us up right the fuck now. First of all, if black people were immune to it. I think everyone should just focus on a very strong issue that everybody cares about and fight for that. Everyone starts jumping from one thing to another and then just let the other thing go. Yeah. And that's what I one of the segments I did on the channel was what people are fighting for, right? And this is when everybody was still in there. You know, Andrew Yang, he had a lot of great ideas. His focal point was universal basic income. Bernie Sanders, whether you agreed with it or not, his focal point was Medicare for all. Tulsi Gabbard, her focal point was end regime change wars. So people had something they cared about and they fought for it, right? And that was their biggest message to people, even though they may have other great ideas along with it, whether it's nuclear, what have you. The other candidates, Joe Biden, Amy Klobuchar, Pete, Bloomberg, they didn't have a major issue for people besides defeating Donald Trump. But what else did they stand for? Nothing. They didn't stand for anything. Status quo Joe. Can I speak to the manager, Klobuchar? They didn't have anything. Give me your guns, O'Rourke. They didn't have anything. I wonder if we buy paper to replace toilet paper. Or like that hard ass, like what? Like what kind of paper are you talking about? Some Yang Gang are not happy with Yang endorsing Biden. No, they're not, because again, you know, where Yang Gang is a very diverse coalition of people, and a lot of that portion was former Bernie Sanders supporters. A lot of that coalition was former Republicans, and a lot of that coalition are, you know, moderates and libertarians, what have you. So the Republicans, you know, the former Republicans don't give a fuck about Bernie, you know, or Biden. At the end of the day, they want Yang. The Sanders supporters, who are already backed into a corner, are, you know, upset that Yang, you know, backed Biden. And then even some of the moderates who, you know, put their hope into Yang is upset that, you know, that Biden didn't even consider UBI. But Yang did say he would endorse the nominee, and he feels like he's the nominee. So I get it mathematically. I get why Yang did it. I'm just not happy with the candidate. I'm not happy with the front runner. He has dementia. Like, it's very clear. Biden doesn't stand for anything. He's status quo. He wants to go back to that Obama feeling. But here's the issue. Obama served 2 terms. And you got to understand, Obama was a smooth motherfucker, right? When he spoke into a room, people listened, right? His words carried a lot of weight. People really dug Obama, but he didn't govern that well. He didn't do much. First of all, Obamacare came from a right-wing think tank. You know, Chuck Grassley, Newt Gingrich, they all supported it. It came from the Heritage Foundation. And Mitt Romney, he took that and put a spin on it. So it was actually, you know, it came from the right, Obamacare originally. And he just didn't do much. He didn't do much. And like I talk to black people all the time, and you know, some of them have opened their eyes, but some of them love Obama. And I said, well, what did Obama do? What did he do for you? And they can't ever tell me. I've never had a conversation where like Obama did this and it was great for the African American community, or it was great for me, or this changed my life. And that doesn't happen. And Joe Biden wants to go back to that time, pretending like, yes, this is a good thing. This is what helped us. When honestly, that time is what brought us Donald Trump. And it's not fixing any of the things that Andrew Yang was talking about. Automation, online crushing brick and mortar. Overseas, like trade overseas, we ain't even talking about overseas right now. Motherfuckers, nothing's happening overseas. That shit's going to be on lockdown because of coronavirus. But things like that. The Obama administration didn't tackle those things. They didn't tackle those things. He wants to go back to a time and pretend like it was like good times when, okay, you didn't have the mean tweets, but that's about it. Like people were still getting shipped out of the country. Like people, you know, when people argue about Trump, oh, he's getting rid of people, he's doing this. Yeah, Obama deported more people than Donald Trump. So I don't know. He doesn't stand for anything. Status quo. Can you imagine if Donald Trump got the coronavirus? Holy shit. Can you imagine? Oy. Would I rather, where'd it go? Would I rather Trump or Biden? Well, seeing as how neither of their policies do anything for me, they're not going to change my financial situation. They're not going to change anything for me. Their policies don't do much for me. So I put that as, you know, both in a con category. I think Trump, his cognitive abilities are actually okay. Like I don't think his brain's melting. Biden's is. I think Trump is genuinely entertaining and genuinely funny. Biden's not. I think they're both liars. Unless Biden got an Andrew Yang in his cabinet, maybe Donald Trump. I don't see what the difference of taking Donald Trump out and putting in a Joe Biden will do. Joe Biden still owes Big Pharma. Trump owes Big Pharma. Biden owes Big Pharma. Like they have the same lobbyists. There's not that big of a difference, except one's more of a liar. I guess Trump's more of a liar. He's got a bad hairpiece. If you really break it down, there's not. Joe Biden wanted to get rid of Social Security. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think Joe Biden will help? Wasn't Joe Biden part of the thing that helped out Wall Street? Wasn't Biden part of that? I'm sure he was part of that, if my timeline is correct. What's really the big difference between them? What Obama said to the African American community over the years is horrifying. Yeah, Obama. I'd say one of the most progressive things he did was towards the end of his campaign, and he let out nonviolent drug offenders. That was good. Obama should have. He knows there's a war on drugs. He should have legalized marijuana. Full stop. First year should have been legalized. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I've heard people say, "Oh, look, the first black guy legalizing marijuana." Okay, do what's right. You do what's right. Legalize marijuana first year. Full stop. So who thinks Sanders would have been a better choice than Biden? I think Sanders would have been a slightly better choice than Biden. That still doesn't mean I think Sanders could defeat Donald Trump. Because what Sanders has shown me during this Democratic primary He's weak. He went so weak on Biden, so weak. You can't defeat Joe Biden, but you think you're going to beat Donald Trump? He taxed Biden so weak. It was such weak sauce. And I do think he would go slightly harder against Trump, but look, one of the reasons I said why Bernie would do so well against Trump originally in my original synopsis was he brings out the youth. The young people come out and vote for him in droves, but they haven't this time. They haven't done that. So if that's not happening and your attacks are weak sauce, I don't know if Bernie can beat Trump either. He came from the future or can see the future. You still remember the UFO filtered campaign Yang did last year? I do remember that. What type of leaves are best for the booty? Oh, you're talking about because there's no TP. Oh, Jesus. Obama wanted a public option, but Senator Joe Lieberman, who held the deciding vote, would not agree to a public option, so they took the public option off the table. He should have fought harder. When he first got in, when Obama first got in, not the second term, but the first time, he could have did almost anything he wanted that first time around. Almost anything. He had the people would have fucking rioted. He could have did almost anything that first during the very beginning. He could have got almost anything done. It was after over time where they were like, yeah, no, we can shut this motherfucker down. I like Sanders better. However, I think the Berners versus Trump is a scary, dangerous division. You know what? That does sound scary. But what's crazy is like my brother, Russell, was a Trumper. And when him and I actually got to talking, we liked the same shit. Good night across Canada. Biden isn't smart enough or forward thinking enough to put Yang as VP. Sadly, I think he will put someone else political experiences. He knows he's only one term, and that's sad. I think you're right. I think he's gonna put someone of color and probably a woman in there, just to appeal to the people that don't care about policies, and that's the only thing they're looking for. Like that, getting a woman and somebody of color will appeal to the people that Elizabeth Warren was trying to appeal to. Yeah, Obama could have put people on blast. Obama easily, when Obama first got in there and he had a majority and people were like fucking with the people were crying and he had the whole change thing going. Obama that first month could have did any fucking thing he wanted to. He could have got anything done. Anything. People would have rioted. People were at South Park. They ran that episode with Obama when Obama won over and over again. He could have did anything he fucking wanted to. But he was bought as well. He had a lot of grassroots donations, but then he had a lot of corporate donations too. Trumpers versus Berners could be civil war. That would get ugly. What I would like to know is what this chat is all about, because we're just talking about stuff that everybody already knows. We're talking about whatever is on anybody's mind. To move forward is you keep covering Yang, keep him in the spotlight as much as you can, keep the division as little, as small as you can, because right now the division is growing larger and larger. Keep supporting people who support UBI, and keep fighting for his ideas. Just because he's not running for POTUS doesn't mean you don't fight for his ideas. People, if people who are in the Yang Gang are running for certain seats, like I know Russell was thinking about it, wasn't Scott thinking about it as well? Support those people and keep the movement going. Stacey Abrams would be a great VP. I agree. Humanity Forward is a new platform. I covered it. That was 2 videos ago. You can donate to that, and I think Yang's picking one person from random to give $1,000 a month to for a year. So that's another great thing to have. Did a float for him in our Christmas parade where I was living for his campaign. He disappointed me as president. Yeah, he didn't do much. He could have did, second term, I get it. But that first term, he could have did a lot. He could have did a fucking lot. He could have did a lot. He could have, he did pardon, what's her name? Who just tried to commit suicide. The whistleblower. He did pardon her. He did a couple things, but nothing that really made a difference in people's lives. I feel Yang would have united the country more than Bernie. I agree. I almost wish they flip-flopped. I almost wish that Bernie passed the torch to Yang and said, look, make me your VP and I'll throw my full support behind you, and told all of, Sanders supporters to go for Yang. If they would have flip-flopped, that would have been amazing, right? Goldman Sachs donators got with Obama. Yeah. He did the same thing out, and then after, he did $400,000 for a speech and stuff like that, just like the people progressives are railing against. Yang said the first state he would visit if he won the presidency is the state he did the poorest. Kind of cool, to be honest. That is amazingly cool. Yeah, can you imagine Medicare for all and UBI? And I know that's what Yang was advocating for, but Sanders was known for like he moved the Overton window for Medicare for all, just like Yang moved the Overton window for UBI. So if you put those two juggernauts together, that would have been amazing. Bernie or bust this point. I think a lot of people are thinking that, which is why I was talking to Doctor up top. And I was saying that's why I think, Donald Trump is going to win. A, because Joe Biden has dementia. And B, there's a lot of people that are not going to cast that vote for Biden that were pro Bernie. They lost in 2016 and then they lost this time around. They're done. They're politically done. 141. Holy shit. All right, guys. I got to end this motherfucker. I didn't realize it's almost 2 a.m. Time flies when you're having fun. But look, this Sunday, I will be being interviewed on with Mindful Skeptic. He will be interviewing me. It's been a while since I've been on there. I think he spoke to me when I first started my channel. I think I just hit 1,000 subscribers. So it's, it's been quite a while. I don't know if I'm streaming tomorrow, but I'm streaming Sunday. It's not going to be on my channel. It's going to be on Mindful Skeptics. I'll be talking to Boyce. But tomorrow I am dropping a video. It's about 2 subjects and it has to do with Yang. So I am definitely dropping a video tomorrow. Sunday, I will be getting interviewed by Boyce. And then next week, I'm going to try to set something up with Russell to do a live stream with Russell. So if you like what you see, if you like what you hear now. So yeah, bedtime. I do work tomorrow. I didn't realize that much time passed. It hasn't been 5 hours. How many hours has it been? That can't be right. No, Mindful Skeptics this Sunday evening, Sunday after 6 p.m. I will be being streamed with Voice. Yes, Sarah, I'm starting to see that the live streams really keep us together. So I'm gonna do more live streams for sure. And it, it's running smoothly. So computer's updated. So I'll keep doing that at least once or twice a week to check in with you guys. Thank you, Melody. All right, everybody. I am out of here. I always appreciate the conversation. You guys are awesome. And keep the faith. All right, Yang Gang, not left, not right, but forward. Peace.